Welcome to CLS show. Marty Gallagher again tonight here, and we got one of the owners again, Brad here. This has been a season that's been moving along.
Yeah.
It's not so hot tonight, so we got the
It's pleasant.
Pleasant night.
Pleasant.
And it's been a pleasant summer. The temperatures have been pretty dry, which maybe the farmers don't like that.
Yeah, they
but
hate that.
The race fans, do, and the race car drivers do too.
I love droughts on Saturday. Love droughts on Saturday.
Yeah, they can sprinkle.
Mondays it can rain.
But from midnight on, sprinkle a little bit.
Right, that's right.
It's been a fun month here so far. We got the month of money that's been happening,
Uh-huh.
and we're sitting in the middle of the month of money.
Yep.
Midwest Modifieds have won $5,000,
Yep.
and the Wissota Super Stocks $5,000. Let's look back at those two last Saturdays.
Okay. Midwest Mods, like you said, on the beginning part of July here, they ran for $5,000 to win. We had great car count. 65 Midwest Mods pulled in the gate. And they, when you hear that from Midwest Mods, a lot of people kind of go, because, you can have a lot of carnage with that many cars,
Yeah.
especially in Midwest Mods. A lot of guys in that class and gals are still learning. It is considered somewhat still a beginner class in some instances, but it is becoming a lot more professional. Obviously, a lot more drivers are becoming more attuned. There's a lot of guys. The guy that won it, Jason Vannekamp, has been he's a seasoned driver. He's been in it for goodness, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But really good. The heats were fantastic. The B mains were fantastic, and then the A main was fantastic. So couldn't have been more happy about how it turned out.
The best part is, so as these races have gone, you also have other classes happening throughout the night,
Yep.
and all those races have gone well too. And then we'll fast forward now to the Wissota Super Stocks.
Yeah.
35 cars.
Yeah.
And I would, looking at the driver roster,
Yeah.
some of the best Wissota Super Stock drivers that are in the Midwest.
Yep, Wissota Superstocks came in and were well represented. Was a little bit controversial at the end of the night. Of course, we're still dealing with that right now, but it was kind of fun to watch. Tommy Richards ended up taking the win. There was an issue with a disqualification, but we're just going to leave it at that because I think there's maybe an appeal process right now that's still underway. We'll find out probably after this is probably already posted. Probably some decisions have been made, but I did understand there was an appeal process. But it was fantastic racing up and down the board with great talent, like you said. Guys starting, I think the guy that ended up winning it started 13th or maybe further back. I think it was. So it was fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Super Stocks, Pro Stocks, whatever umbrella you want to put them on, always put on a great show at Cedar Lake Speedway. Consistent, fast. These drivers have been in these cars a lot of years. Some of these guys say, hey, no, I don't want to go to a late model. I don't want to move up. Like, I'm happy in this class.
Right.
And they do well, race around the Midwest, spend a lot of time at Cedar Lake Speedway, and put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll go ahead now.
Okay.
We got next week.
Yeah, we're halfway home.
$5,000 for the late models.
Yep.
And a sponsor came aboard to put some money with the entry fee, which we might not, it's the deadline's tomorrow at this time. This video might not be out there by then.
Yeah.
But it's a cool deal. And he posted this like 10 days ago.
Yeah, I posted this on July 9th originally that we were that Jim from JT Auto wanted it posted on our Facebook page to actually say that if any driver was going to contact Cedar Lake Speedway, ergo me, I would actually pre-register them that he will actually cover their pre-entry fee, which is $95. So you look at the amount of drivers. Well, if he would have been a sponsor of the Midwest Mods, he would have been spending, almost $6,500 right there just for the pre-entry fee. So we're hoping, as much as I would love to, not soak them for all that much money, but it'd be kind of fun to have a lot of late models show up and pre-register. We're still in, I think, the upper, I would say mid to upper 20s right now that have already pre-registered, and it's a very talented field again. I'm hoping that we can kind of creep towards where we had, what we had for the Masters event, where we had 40 late models. JT Otto out of Cumberland, he's probably going, ooh, I don't know if we want to have that many, but it'd be really cool, and I think he'd be excited to see that many late models.
And I know you guys have posted a list. I'm not going to read it off on my phone because it'd be very, very boring.
Yeah.
But there's some really good drivers that are already pre-registered.
Yep.
And there's some other drivers that I know are going to pre-register.
Yeah.
Because they usually run at Cedar Lake Speedway.
Sorry.
They usually run at Cedar Lake Speedway every Saturday anyways. So
they will.
It's exciting, the whole month of money deal that you guys have done. I think it's great. It's brought out some good car counts and good numbers, and then we'll go to the end of the month. We got the modifieds.
The A modifieds, they're on the end of the month. Last date of the month is July 29th, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that as well. I'll tell you what, the last part of the year, I especially the month of money, and to digress about the kind of the explaining or some background about the month of money was, everybody kind of considers Cedar Lake Speedway a late model track, and we do have a lot of late model specials. We also have the World of Outlaw sprint cars, and we also have the IRA sprint cars, and then a lot of the other classes are kind of, I wouldn't say they're ignored, but they were always saying, well, how come we never have a special? So this was one of the ideas that we conjured up quite a few years ago. We were thinking, well, maybe we should have just set aside one night where we actually try to run for some big money. And here's the thing. The $5,000 purse that we run for a Midwest Modified is the exact same purse for first, second, third, all the way back to 24th for a late model. So late models might be saying, well, that's no great money for us, but at the same time, Midwest Mods, everybody's like, this is the best money we've ever seen, and same thing for pro stocks, and A modifieds are doing very well. So, but late models can't complain because we have great sponsorships there. They have an increased purse, on a weekly show, and I definitely know that there's a lot of specials out there this year that are not even paying $5,000 to win. Even the week that we are leading up to this race, it's a $2,000 to win and maybe a $3,000 to win up north in northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin. So we're hopefully going to be capping off that week-long racing that's happening right now throughout Wissota country, Minnesota, Wisconsin, you name it. And hopefully a lot of those cars will come down to Cedar Lake on Saturday.
That's what I did see, some of the drivers list that has happened so far this early on week of guys running up north. And I see southern Minnesota, I see Iowa, I see South Dakota. Yeah. Well, why not make your way to Wisconsin? There's a couple of guys from Montana are running over there. Well, let's take a little 2-hour jaunt south and run at Cedar Lake Speedway before you race back home to Montana.
That'd be cool.
Along with that, modified night at the end of the month.
Yes.
We also have a little special sprint car deal going on as well.
Yes, I'm going to talk about that first, and then don't let me forget I have something to talk about the late models again. So in regards, so I'm sorry, I'm going to jump back to the A mods. So the A mods are $5,000 to win on the 29th of July, and then we are also getting a little bit more money also for our wing sprint cars. So the wing sprint cars are going to run for more money. They're going to run for some hard charger money. They're going to run for increased purse at the end of the night. There's going to be some other giveaways. There's also going to be some special appearances by some special people. I've heard that Tommy Kramer is going to be there. I've heard Ed McDaniel is going to be there. And I think Robert Tate's going to be there. These are all former Vikings back when I used to, actually be kind of much younger. I have a lot more hair and could actually cheer for the Vikings.
Wait, you're a Wisconsin guy. You actually cheered for the Vikings?
I grew up in Minnesota before I moved over to Wisconsin. Right. So, I actually grew up in the backyard of Bloomington. So.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, sorry. So
you were probably
we haven't won anything yet.
So you were right next to Met Stadium when you grew up?
Pretty much, yeah. Met Center, Metropolitan Stadium, yeah.
Why? Watch the old Purple People Eaters.
I did. My number one quarterback was Fran Tarkenton. I remember that. I remember growing up with him for sure. Ahmad Rashad. Yeah.
So yes,
you gonna rip me or what?
No, I was gonna rip you about
how old I am.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
We'll just lay it. I've been a long time Viking fan since '83.
83. My gosh, I was in high school.
That's when he was born.
I know.
Yeah.
See what happens when you before, after, type thing here. Sorry.
No, it's so yes. And then you said about the late models before.
Oh yeah. So now we're going to segue back from the 29th back then to the 22nd. So we talked about the late models running on for $5,000, and then also to not I shouldn't touch the table. I'm sorry. The USRA limited late models are running for $1,000 to win.
That's a big. So because there's a lot of USRA guys in the area. Like they were just traveling around. When you guys had an off weekend for them, they went and ventured out. Yep. And there was a lot of cars that showed up to those tracks.
Yeah, yeah. So we're hoping that by, not only, we posted it on Facebook. I think I did that earlier today. I think it was. Yeah, this morning I posted that out there just to remind people about it. And then, obviously just to kind of give them a little bit of a bump in money as well. So, yeah.
So that's impressive. So we got 1,000 for the USRAs. Yep. You got 5,000 for late models. Yep. And then obviously still got some of the other regular classes running for their points, money, all that stuff. And then we obviously go ahead to the modified races. Yeah. And $5,000 a win, and then the big sprint car special, which I did a couple weeks ago when I was out there, and those winged sprint cars put on quite a show with that.
I am listening to you. I'm not ignoring. I'm not being a teenager and just going out of my. I'm not going out of my TikTok or whatever. The Sam.
Semi-live videos. Yeah, we just go back and forth, and you just sit on your phone. I'm feeling like I'm talking to my kids.
I got to go text my friends now.
Hey, so when I was telling my daughters about we can just walk around and you can just, instead of watching YouTube videos, we can just make YouTube videos. Yeah. And that's pretty much what they would probably be doing is, well, we need to take a picture of this and do this and look at this and look at that.
Yeah. Well, can I talk a little bit?
Yes.
We talked a little bit about the sponsors. So for this weekend, of course, on the 22nd, we have Caliber Collision is coming out with a big group of people out this weekend. Fantastic group. I'm assuming I heard numbers maybe peaking near 300 people just from that company alone. We have JT Auto, as I previously mentioned. Jim's fantastic sponsor of the racetrack. Can't thank him enough. And then, of course, Berners out of New Richmond, Berners Chrysler Jeep. They're out of, and Dodge, they're out of New Richmond. So they're great sponsors of the racetrack as well. And then we dive ahead a whole week for sponsorships there. And Willow River Saloon out of Burkhart, Wisconsin is a big sponsor, as well as Columbia Pipe, a fantastic sponsor. And those guys have been absolutely rock solid. So a lot of our, VIPs for the rest of the year are pretty much booked solid, which is fantastic. I'm not complaining one bit. This is a fantastic opportunity to get these sponsors involved and whatnot. And I'd be remiss to not also bring up a couple other sponsors here in regards to the 29th show for those wing mods, or wing sprint cars, I should say. GRP Motorsports, Blaine Brothers right here on my chest. We've got Hawk Wings, Seafoam, Lightspeed, RTS Podcast, Ericsson Asphalt, V-Brock Performance. I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. GR Ericsson Racing, A-Main, Adjusting LLC, Buddy Becker, Titan Exteriors, Midstate Exteriors, or Excavating, Midstate Excavating, my apologies, and then Norm's Tire. And then finally, like I said, Tommy Kramer. He actually has a limo service.
That's fair.
So that's kind of funky. And he's going to bring out a couple limos that weekend. So that's going to be kind of cool. And
I've seen one of his limos, and it's purple.
Yeah.
And it's got Viking horns on it and everything.
Yeah.
And, of course, you can like and subscribe with us here on the CLS show on YouTube.
Yeah.
And in the coming weeks, you'll probably see some pictures and videos of that limo.
Yeah.
Or maybe even our man in the background, Dan Plan, can find a picture of that limo and post it on this video. Yeah.
Yeah. He big thanks to Pat Donahue as well as Brady and everybody over there at their shop, whatever else, for making this happen too. It's a big, huge plus for the DDR.
We're gonna hop off the train tracks of the racing.
Okay.
I find it interesting.
Sure.
You're a race car fan.
Sure.
And you've been around the game for a while.
Yes.
You're one of the owners of Cedar Lake Speedway. What's you have the late models, big shows for them.
Yeah.
Sprint cars, big shows for them. Modifieds, big shows for them. And of course the other classes that you guys help support and make big shows for them. What's the fan bases? Are they different? Are are the mod guys funner than the late model guys or the sprint car guys better than the, and you don't even need to go that way, but just the fans in general. Like, is it all different fans, or do you see the same fans that just always come back to support the track? Like,
I think you see a lot of both there, but I mean, obviously the people that are there to watch racing every single Saturday night, they're the same fans. We try to get, one of the things that we try to also do is that I don't know if you've ever gotten come to the school bus race early in the year, but we also hand out a lot of giveaway tickets. I think we handed out like almost 10,000 giveaway tickets. So, and we have certain dates on those tickets where, thanks for coming out to watch the school bus races. If you've never been here before, here's a couple of tickets. Come back and watch races on certain dates. Now, I can't remember the exact dates off the top of my head. I think there's a couple here in July, and there's maybe one more in August, I think it is. But it gives the opportunities for people that have never been to the races to come on out. Those are the people I like to talk with and converse with, because they obviously are trying to ask a lot of questions. They're trying to understand, what does this mean? What is a heat race? What's a B main and an A main and things like that. So that's kind of cool in getting people kind of dialed in. At the same time, you talk to guys like Joe Nicious tonight and his family. They are well versed with having a huge background in racing, and as far as family and tradition there. So I don't know if I have a particular group of class of people that I love to hang out with. I think it's the ones that don't complain are the ones that are my favorite ones.
So and it's funny, like, as I've luckily been enough around the areas of different racing stuff, and I always see like the sprint car guys are the sprint car guys, the modified guys are the modified guys. We've seen a little bit of different change here the last couple of years, where you see kind of a blend. Some of the guys on the top tours have blended with others, like Tyler Courtney ran a late model last year out to Eldora Million, and then he ran a sprint car now this year. And you got like Nick Hoffman that has bounced from a modified, and he's running full-time late models. It's interesting to see this obviously this connection between all these drivers, where in the past it was like, I'm a sprint car guy, I'm a modified guy. Did you see that in the past, or is that changing?
Yeah, you do see that. Overall, though, I think collectively as a group, though, I think that most people, including, the racers are there to watch the races, and the fans are there to watch the races, racing as well. So I think there's a lot of, there's still a lot of, an intertwining, fandom, I guess, if you will, between the classes. What I thought was interesting, talking with Joe tonight too, was that I love the fact of, for lack of a better way of putting it, stealing a guy that used to run asphalt and coming over to the dirt side. I think that's just absolutely great. I mean, I think that transition and listening to that, where, and I have no problem if a guy wants to go run asphalt, whatever else, but for me, and where my background is, I love dirt, and it's always been that way. And I sure, NASCAR's fun, and Formula One's fun, and whatever else. But overall, though, I still love the fact of you can watch professional racing and you can watch professional sports, but there's nothing that beats even like what I consider even the college sports or even the high school sports, where guys can still, and gals can still screw up, and literally they can. I love the fact where a guy spins out or a driver spins out. They go to the back, and they can still make their way and redeem themselves. I think that's fun. I think that's what I love about dirt racing, is that it gives that opportunity. In asphalt racing, now this is just me talking. I'm not one that I'm not an expert on asphalt racing, as maybe you are. But I don't think a guy can go all the way to the back and make his way to the front unless it's unheard of. But there's more opportunities, I think, in dirt, because there's different lines, and the track is much wider per se. You can run all the way up to the wall. You can run all the way down the tires. It's there's also a middle, so there's more than just 2 lanes or 3 lanes, sometimes 4 lanes. I've seen that week. For the past couple of weeks, we've had guys going out of turn number 2, and they're 4 wide. I mean, that's just awesome. So,
and that's what I would 100% agree with you, and I think that's one of the greatest things about dirt racing is the racing itself, and especially at Cedar Lake Speedway. You guys have done a great job of making the lanes. You guys have added some new dirt over the last couple of years. Not saying the racing was bad before that, but it's just changed the element a little bit, and you can go 3, 4, 5 wide if you need to. And if you spin out and go to the back, well, give me a couple laps and I'll race back up to the front, which we'll probably see at the USA Nationals. And that's going to fire up here in the first part of August.
August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's our 36th annual USA Nationals, I believe it is.
From Texas. Sitting in the Roberts, we Jonathan Davenport and Chris Madden on row number 1. Here come the late models. It's showtime!
Off into turn number 1, Jonathan Davenport with the early lead. It's Chris Madden going into second, Turbo third, Jake Tim fourth. Battle for fifth between Illinois drivers Pearson Shepard. Figure this out. If not, Davenport gets 50 grand more.
Final time here at the 35th running of the USA Nationals. Jonathan Davenport into turn number 1. He's led every single lap. Down the back straightaway, we'll work our way to the checkered for the 3rd time in his career, and back-to-back years, Superman wins the USA Nationals in 49.
Steering wheel is off, and he's climbing out. Superman Jonathan Davenport.
And for those of you that are asking questions about the USA Nationals, do we have a car count or a count list on who's there? No, I don't have anything yet for you.
Go on Facebook and invite a bunch of drivers from all over the place.
Yeah.
Tell them to come here.
We're bringing 100 and some drivers here. How's that? I have no idea. But you know, what I consider local talent, and what I also consider the national talent, it's bar none the place to be. Yeah. I mean, I have heard. I mean, there are the surrounding tracks. Some of them actually take it off because it's such a big deal at at Cedar Lake Speedway. So I'm thankful for that. I appreciate that very much. I think those are
very supportive from surrounding tracks. That they look out for the track as a community of the Midwest racing.
Yeah, and so the one thing we also do, you know, for that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you know, we're running both complete shows on every single night of that, you know, show of that event, I should say. So Thursday is a complete show for World of Outlaw late models. It's also a complete show for our regular late models on that Thursday. And then also on Friday, it's the exact same thing. And then also on Saturday. And here's the thing about running on that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We want the big boys, what we call them the big boys, they're going to run every single night because it's going to be an accumulative type point system, much like they run the Knoxville Nationals. And that's how you actually accumulate points to get into the Saturday show. So a little bit of a different format change this year is that we're running, again, a full complete show on Thursday, one on Friday, one on Saturday. And it's going to be a little bit of a different format change, but we're hoping that's going to draw a lot more cars. It's going to bring a lot more purse money into this whole thing. It's going to, hopefully, reward those drivers for coming all the way up here to Cedar Lake Speedway. It's also going to reward our local late models who showed up here for the Masters with 40-plus cars for our Masters, which was phenomenal. I was so excited and tickled to see that. So that's great. In addition, we also have the Fans Fund, which is a big thing here at Cedar Lake Speedway. They're still taking votes on as far as drivers. You can go visit cedarlakespeedway.com. I don't have the exact other
Facebook
information.
Page and stuff like that.
Yeah,
no, it's out there. It's on social media.
Yeah, CLS Fans Fund, I think it is, or Fans Fund. I should know this. I don't know this. I apologize, but it's people can bring their favorite drivers. I'm always, and in my humble opinion, I love to see brand new drivers. It's cool to have the same drivers show up every year, but I really want to get more new talent. People that we very rarely see. And I'll tell you what, some drivers that I've heard, now I don't talk to them because it's not part of Cedar Lake. It's a Fans Fund. It's a totally separate thing from Cedar Lake. Somebody else is driving that, and they're actually taking that on. And it's a good system where they're actually contacting these drivers from down south or out east or whatever else. And some of these, the responses we're getting is they couldn't believe that they're going to be getting, so much money just to show up to Cedar Lake Speedway. And that's what's voted by from the Fans Fund.
And that's what I know with the Fans Fund website, which literally type in on Facebook Fans Fund or just type in on the internet Fans Fund on your phone, and the site pops up. I don't donate my money through Venmo, through check. There's obviously different options, and then I get to nominate a driver.
Right.
Could be one of my favorite drivers from the state of New Mexico. It could be from Canada. It doesn't matter. And then they have, as time goes along, as we're getting here closer and closer, we have a list. And then that list pops up, and then some of the drivers that get voted in, they get a little extra money to make their drive here to Cedar Lake Speedway. So no matter what, they might end up with, and I'm not going to say the number because I don't know the number, but they're going to end up with a little extra cash in their pocket. It could be $3,500. It could be
I think
$1,000. I mean, I don't,
yeah, No, I think it starts around, like, say, I'm pulling a number out of my head. I think it's around $1,500 to $1,600 just for showing up.
Yeah.
And it kind of keeps climbing up from there. And then they also have a fans fund race. So you get to the racetrack, you get some money, you're guaranteed a certain amount of money, and it's a sliding scale based upon how much, of course, money you actually collect. So that's the thing that we're doing. And then I should say we, but the fans fund are doing. And then at the same time, then
Jason and Justin, of course.
Yep.
The
other thing I was going to mention, though, was that I took my mind away for a second. Oh, they race on, that race is going to be on Friday this year. So the Fans Fund race is going to be on Friday. Normally it's on Saturday, but it's going to be on Friday this year. Thursday.
Yes.
Thank you, Thursday.
Yes.
I was getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, the Fan Funds race
on
this
Thursday.
Year,
Thank
it's
you.
going to be on Thursday this year.
Yep.
It's always been on Friday. So Fans Fun on Thursday. So for fans that really want to be out there for the Fans Fun race, be there on Thursday night. It's always been on Friday in the past.
That's correct.
Fans Fun feature race, and there's usually about 8-10 drivers, and it's mixes here and there.
Yeah, pretty close to a dozen drivers show up for that, and then on Saturday we have the banquet, I guess, if you will, the Fans Fun banquet. That's held in the Cedar Lake Arena, and you know the wonderful thing about being part of that is that you may have nominated a driver and may have paid some money into it, but that money is then it gets gobbled up and used for inviting these other drivers, and your driver may or may not be there. But you still get rewarded by coming to a banquet. You get, kind of a luncheon, if you will, and you get to sit down and kind of basically talk with the drivers per se. You get to meet them. There's also, they raffle off doors, that they bring in. They bring in some other, treats or whatever else. So it's kind of, everybody walks away with a T-shirt. They walk away with something in their hand. So it's really kind of cool.
And that's what I like. The whole Fans Fun. That's always been amazing. I don't know of that format being done anywhere else through the Midwest for sure, if not throughout the country, of asphalt or dirt racing, and I think it's a great idea. And that's the fans are handling that. That's the fans deal. That's the Cedar Lake deal.
Nope.
But you guys put a lot of work and effort and time into this whole weekend too. You have buses to bring people to the river. You have this, fireworks and camping, and there's a lot of time and effort that goes into this deal.
Well, I mean, it's not just a race. It's not just, everybody just talks about the USA Nationals as a race, and it is. But it's really what I consider it's an event. I mean, people start showing up with their campers on Monday, including maybe even Sunday prior, and they're there all week. By Wednesday, for crying out loud, there's almost 500 campers there already, and then by Thursday there's well over 1,000, and then by Friday there's 1,500. So it's just crazy how many people are going to show up for this thing. So if you have any questions about camping or whatever else, go to cedarlakespeedway.com, or you can contact Steph at 612-363-0479. She's going to love me for giving out her number, but you can give her a call because that's what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So give her a call and see if she's got any more campsites left. I don't know if she does or not. I think it's pretty close to being sold out. So
I'm going to call her right now.
And the best part is you guys have even expanded your camping, and it's still being sold out.
Yep. We expanded our camping on the on the western side of CC. So that's the road that's basically that you come in on from New Richmond area. But on the western side, that's where we planted a lot more grass. When we leveled it all out, we listened to all the campers last year. We did a lot more work. We were just out there today mowing that area. And hopefully we get some more rain here to make some more grass grow and whatever else, and be all set for our USA National camping.
And of course, obviously, we got that a few weeks away. And then beyond that, we have, and I think this is a new event.
Yep. So the weekend after the USA Nationals, on this that concludes on the 6th. Then on the 12th, we actually come back with a totally non-racing event. It's just it is a truck pull as well as a demo derby that we're having at Cedar Lake Speedway. The demo derby is probably going to start somewhere around the hour of 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's going to be on one side of the racetrack. I'm likely going to put it on the east side of the racetrack, and on the opposite side is going to be a truck pull, which is probably going to start roughly around 7 o'clock in the evening. Now, the reason why they start differently is because the demo derby is going to take a much longer time because of the classes that are involved. You can go to cedarlakespeedway.com and find out more information about what we're having or what we're hosting. But there's also an organization called 715 Motorsports, which is actually putting that on. And we are actually bringing out this big iron / Imperials. I don't know if you remember the Chrysler Imperials from back in the day, but they're actually in this thing, and they are gargantuan beasts, whatever else, and they're impossible to kill. So that's going to be kind of a fun thing to watch at the racetrack on that night. As I said, they're going to start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm hoping we're done with our event at about, I'm hoping 10, 11 o'clock at night, because like I said, the truck pull starts at 7 o'clock and that's going to run for a few hours there. So at the same time, the one thing that we're also doing, you get to see both shows for $20 for a general admission ticket price, I think it is for an adult. And you can see both shows. One's on one side of the racetrack and the other's on the other side. So you're going to be entertained all throughout the night. So a little bit of overlap, obviously, during the end of the shows, but you come early, get to see the demo derbies, get to see their preliminaries, whatever else they got to do, and then probably halfway through their program, then the trucks will start pulling on the front stretch.
And I know it's pretty easy to get around Cedar Lake Speedway. You just, if you're on the back stretch, you just walk around through turns
3 and 4
to the front stretch, and you walk back and forth. Easy walkway, food on both sides, concession on both sides.
Yep.
Wonderful grandstands on both sides.
Yep.
So that's pretty entertaining. It's going to be kind of once in a, like, I've never heard of many tracks doing that. We're like, hey, we're going to have entertainment here and entertainment here.
Well, we're trying. We're going to try something. It's going to be something new. So we're hoping if you have nothing going on the 12th of August, come on out. I think it's a pretty reasonable priced event for what we're charging. And like I said, you get to watch 2 complete different programs. I think most people just go to a truck pull or a demo derby, but this is going to be 2 events at the same time. And I'm only charging one price. And so I'm really hoping that we get a lot of people to attend this event and make it an annual tradition.
It's kind of like you're at the county fair. Like, it's the truck pull is on Thursday night, and the demo derby is on Friday night. We're just going to combine both nights together and just put it on a Saturday night at Cedar Lake Speedway.
Right, exactly.
Thanks again, Brad. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good recap here coming up here for the CLS show. Again, thanks for joining us here. Make sure you like and subscribe, and should be a fun rest of the season at Cedar Lake Speedway.